Iburu, Iboya, Bucheche, everybody in Cyberland. It's your favorite Bawalao. At least I hope you think so. Hey, want to talk on a special topic for this week. So I get a lot of questions because obviously the portion of Ifa that I study and what I'm learned and what I'm consecrated in is Afro-Cubano, okay? Lukumi, which is not the traditional Ifa, which is in Africa, but the Caribbean aspect. So when the slaves came in and were being pulled from Nigeria, were pulled into the islands, was pulled into different ports of Europe, the Caribbean, the United States, all the faith traveled. And what a lot of people forget is that the crusades, between the Christian crusades and the Muslim crusades and everything that destroyed Africa, destroyed a lot of what our traditions are today. However, the slaves themselves took the faith with them. Okay, so just food for thought while we try to think this out a little bit, because I'm going to touch on a very touchy topic, because a lot of people try to understand, hey, why is it that on the Holy Week, which is Monday to Sunday, Sunday ending on Easter Sunday, which is a Catholic tradition, a Catholic big milestone within their faith, why is it that there's a lot of people within the Regla de Ocha, the Regla de Ifa, within Lukumi, that recognize this Holy Week, and why? So it's very simple. Okay, la Regla de Ocha and la Regla de Ifa, okay, for my Bawalaos, my Woruminas, okay, we do not necessarily follow that because that is part of our faith and part of our there's a pataki or an odu or a sign that tells us this is certain things that we got to do. For example, taking a white sheet and covering all your ochas and your orishas, okay? That's not something that is mandated. That's not something that's a have to. That is something that we do based on tradition, based on lineage, based on it's how we always done it, which is not always a good practice, but a lot of times this is something that we just got to kind of understand, because understanding will lead to open-mindedness, okay? So, first things first, la regla de ocha, la regla de ifa, you're going to see a lot of elements that resemble Christianity, that resemble Islam, that resemble Hinduism, Buddhism. If there's one thing that we are, is that we are very tolerant to all religions. We're all inclusive, because one thing that we preach is religious tolerance, because we respect all faiths. Okay, with that said, when we talk about the Holy Week and we talk about covering our ochas and covering our orishas, okay, I want to remind you that there is a traditional aspect to that. There is a historical aspect, better yet, that teaches us why we do those things. And it had to do because we were trying to hide our faiths from the slave masters who were oppressing, okay, those who did believe in anything else other than Catholicism to believe in Catholicism. So that's when we hid our orishas and our ochas under statues, and we were honoring them. And because the Catholics do it, this is why we do it, type of deal. So when people were singing Santa Barbara, Saint Barbara, you know, they were truly praying to Chango, but they had to hide it that way, because if not, they find themselves dying, because they will be put to death. So there's a lot of different reasons why we do things, and what I'm trying to do is just open up your mind so you can kind of understand why we do things. Today, there are many iles, many spiritual houses that still recognize, let's cover the ochas, let's cover the orishas, and let's use this week as a week of resting, as a week of no work, so that we can honor some of the sacrifices that within the Catholic faith are their traditions. Okay, here's my take on that. We all have eguns. This is one. And a lot of our eguns are represented by different religions. This is the reason why we're all inclusive, and we're also very religious tolerant. Okay, because we have to respect that, because the eguns still help us, the eguns still do things for us, and many times we have to look towards the eguns for a lot of ceremonial aspects. So we want to respect that. So we're not trying to demean any religion. If you want to practice this is Holy Week and we do nothing, there's nothing wrong with that. That is absolutely fine. That's one. Two, there's a lot of people within our community that have now received their warriors. They got their orula, they got Osha done, they're crowned, everybody's great. But they were probably also baptized. They were probably baptized within the Catholic faith, which means that they already had a pact already with Catholicism. So maybe they want to recognize that. There's nothing wrong with that. And that's something that I'm trying to reinforce so that people understand. Okay. Now, let's say you don't want to rest. That's okay as well. That's okay as well. I tell people that, okay, in Yolbe Mei, the Odun, the greatest and the strongest, the biggest one of them all, talks about intelligence. Let's use our minds here. Don't look at this as, oh, this was an oppression moment, so therefore I'm going to fight the cause and I'm going to fight the grind. You know what I find this? I find this as an opportunity, okay, to grab some holy water, because you use those things sometimes for ceremonies, sometimes for misas. You use it for different things, okay? Because guess what? That's what they do. And in different countries, they give out oil that's consecrated and is blessed under a religious head, okay, of a spiritual home, a church, whatever you want to call it. Those are all tools and things that we can get, right? You can get different palms, and you can get all types of good things. You can also, what I call, I know it sounds a little weird, but you steal a mass. You give the names of your dead, of your eguns. And if for those who already went through their cuadro, their frame, with misas, to understand what muertos are with them, what eguns are with them, you go to a church and you give them the names, and they'll actually pray to those eguns, so you can give light to those eguns. Without you really doing anything, you're giving light to your eguns. You're advancing yourself spiritually. You got to take advantage of opportunities all around you, no matter what. And I just want to make sure that I kind of highlighted that. So let me conclude. The reason for this video was to give understanding and enlightenment when we talk about the Holy Week and how it correlates with our faith. La regla de Osha, la regla de Ifa, okay, Lokumi, okay. I am spiritual 100%, okay? But we got to recognize some of the truths. And I'm not saying that anybody's doing anything wrong if they're covering their stuff with white and they're not working. That's fine. Rest, because everyone needs rest. But understand where these traditions come from, and always ask why, because why is important. Why is always important. And a lot of times we don't do enough of that. We do because it was always done that way without truly understanding why. So with that said, just a little understanding on why we do the things that we do within our faiths. For this point, this is something that's Ile driven, which is within your spiritual house. Maybe that's what you do. And then you always listen to your godmother and godfather. There's nothing wrong with that. You press forward with what that house does, because that is the most important thing. With that said, Iburu, Iboya Bucheche. Figure I answered that question because I was getting a lot of these questions on this particular week, because this is the Holy Week, on what my perspective is on this Holy Week. Iburu, Iboya, Bucheche.